See, look at this. So this all is going to get on camera. Because YouTube doesn't let you fucking start and stop whenever you want.
Nope.
And I'm going to close this. Let's do this. So, I don't know why the camera's so fucking weird. What the fuck? There we go. Mad Dog 2001. Yeah. So, we just got done playing Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare. And I've never played it before. Well, actually, he mostly played it. I pretty much told him what to do, because that's pretty much, I'm like the Alone in the Dark like nerd here. So, what'd you think of it?
In the beginning, very good. There was great backstory. It was scary. It was, you didn't really know what to expect. And then in the second half, it just died. I just wanted to get through the game rather than exploring before, which was what I wanted to do, because I wanted to read all the books to find more backstory about the game, about the characters and all that. At the end, it just became this first-person shooter game, Call of Duty ripoff, where all these enemies would just keep spawning. It's like you're playing zombies. They just keep spawning and spawning and spawning, and you just have to keep running through and not look for anything else. Just got to keep going through, powering through. That's it.
The first part of the game was real similar to the original trilogy. I noticed that right off the bat. It was kind of similar to the first game, where you're kind of walking through, opening up doors. It's like every time a door would open, we're like, ah, fuck, another room. Because the manor was absolutely huge. Like, it's bigger than any of the mansions in the original trilogy. And when you go, like, especially once when you make it to the library, that thing is massive. And there's books, just like in the first game, there's books galore. The one problem I had, there was no voice actor reading it to you, and that kind of can get a little bit, that kind of like, especially if you're a lazy reader like myself, which means you don't read like ever, you actually have to read it yourself. And actually, I found that was actually even better, because it made the story a lot more eerier because of the way you were reading it. You find out backstories of, like, there's a Darsetto mentioning in the game, which is a reference to the first game, but there was no indication of where that story was going. Darsetto was never explained at all, and this Edward Carnby, it looked like he turned into the 1920s Carnby and then went back to normal. That was never explained why he was able to do that. And like you said, the very beginning of the game and the manor aspect, the first like hour and a half was awesome. I couldn't wait to see how it was going to end. And then the second part of the game happened, and it's just like all the other Alone in the Dark games outside of the first game. The second part really, really struggles, and it seems like Infogrames. There's probably a reason why Alone in the Dark, since the first game, doesn't exist anymore, and that's just I mean, I like the original trilogy. There's a lot of people that don't, but I think Marcus here also likes the original trilogy. His favorite was the second game, which I have on PlayStation. Right there. Had this thing since like 2000. Yeah. So, you got anything else you want to add to it? Like,
the best and the worst thing was there's a book in there, and there was 49 pages. 49 fucking pages. And then right after you get done reading it, you go a little further over, and a book, you're just looking at bookshelves, and Carnby says, you know what, we don't have time to be reading right now.
You could tell that was an Infogrames reference right there, because Carnby in the original trilogy is a tyrant. He hates everyone and hates everything, and he always makes smart-ass comments. I remember the third game where you have to give this certain like crazy doctor a shot, and you have to shrink yourself small and then make yourself big again while you're in the cage. And if you forget to put poison on the needle, Carnby just says to you, I'm going to look really stupid walking around with this needle in my hand. Like, it's stuff like that makes the original trilogy so good, is the nice little smart-ass comments that Carnby says to you, because he's pretty much calling you the dumbass. And in this one, he pretty much, like, Says, yeah, I don't have time to read. Okay, after we just read like 600 fucking books in the game, and now you're telling me you don't have to read. That you can tell is Infogrames. Infogrames looks like they made the first half of the game, and the second half is probably Darkworks. Now, I don't know too much about Darkworks. Did it even still make games anymore? I know Infogrames is done.
Yeah, Darkworks still does. The last one that they did is, I can't remember.
This was their first game, though. This was Darkworks' first game. Yeah, a really prepared video we got here.
Yeah. Phone's dead. Phone's dead. Can't even look it up. But they did have a Dark... No, that wasn't Dark Souls. What the fuck I'm talking about? It was Dark something. Yeah, I know. Great.
Yeah.
Great to go off of.
And at the end of the game, which was really cool, they said Edward Carnby will return. So Edward Carnby did not return. There was no second part of the New Nightmare, for all you that know. Then there was the 2008 release, that Alone in the Dark Inferno, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And it had for Xbox, PS3, and PC. For the most part, a lot of people did not like it. I thought the game was decent. I haven't actually played through the whole thing. We played through maybe like 30% of it.
Yeah.
So and that'll be something else we'll obviously do. We'll play through that game completely, even though just I don't know if I want to. Not anytime soon though. But yeah, so we've played through the entire trilogy over the last 2 or 3 months now, and I still think the third one was my favorite as far as the gameplay is concerned. The second one was my favorite story, and the first one I can beat in 20 minutes. The New Nightmare, though, overall, I say it's a decent game. The second part, like I said, really, really kills it. The enemies spawning, it took away the whole survival and the horror aspect of it and just added in a shooter and a combat thing, something the game engine wasn't designed to do to begin with, and to make it more of a Resident Evil shooter kind of game, and it just kind of ruined it. So I can see where the Resident Evil ripoff came from. A lot of people said that. We were playing through the first part. We're like, I don't see Resident Evil in this game at all. This seems like an Alone in the Dark game. At least that's what I thought.
Oh, yeah. Especially when you're going through all those books.
Right. It felt like an Alone in the Dark game, and then the second part happened, and then now it's Resident Evil. So it seems like Infogrames made the first part, and Darkworks made the second part. Now, I don't know anything about Darkworks. It could be the other way around. But I just have to give Infogrames credit because they've made the original trilogy, and the original trilogy, at least in the second and third game, the first part and the second part of the game is the same. Where this one, it was two completely different games. You want to add anything?
I'm just glad it's over with, to be honest. I'm just glad.
We started playing it last week. We played it for maybe 4 hours, and then played tonight. We were expecting to get done in 2 hours. Ended up lasting maybe 4 or 5 hours, because it's 3 a.m. or almost 4 a.m. actually now. So I'm surprised we were able to get through it, but at least we can say that this game is officially conquered by the Alone in the Dark guys here. I guess that's their new name.
Creative.
Right. Edward Carnby is still the greatest fucking video game character of all time. I don't care what people say. I don't even care if he disagrees with me. I still think he's the best video game character of all time. He's been around forever. Here's Alone in the Dark. This one's for the 3DO. I also own them all on PC now, but I don't have because it's all downloadable. For people that want to play the games, all 4 games are available on GOG.com. You can buy. It's I think for $10 is the entire package. You can get all 4 games, and I would highly recommend them because they're really good games. All right. So this is Mad Dog 2001. I don't know what he goes by anymore, so we'll just call him Marcus. And we're out.